Hi class, Miss McClintock here, and I'm so excited to share with you my digital unit resource website. This site was so much fun to create, and I love all the activities on this site and really think that they're going to help you to read and understand complex texts like Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. So this unit is called Shakespeare and the Renaissance, and this year we will be reading one of the Bard's most beloved comedies, Twelfth Night. So if we head on over to the Weber size tab right here, this takes us to a really fun activity that students will be completing before they read the play, during the play, and after. So this activity is divided into 4 categories. You can look down here. You have the Renaissance right here. You have themes in Twelfth Night. You have women in the Renaissance and the women of will. So each category has a web link. You can see it right here that you will use to answer the questions below it. Just click on the live link and it'll take you to the website. Explore that website and then you can come back and answer the questions. I've designed this Weber size to follow or mirror Bloom's taxonomy, which is right up here. It's the hierarchical model that is used to classify learning objectives. The first few questions will test your lower order thinking skills, like remember or understand. For example, right here under Shakespeare and the Renaissance or the Renaissance, when did the Renaissance take place, right? Pretty simple. You can find that at this website and you can just recall the answer. But the next category is going to test a little bit higher order thinking skills. It's going to require you to use information in new situations and draw connections. So for example, explain in 3 sentences why these lines reflect a major theme in Twelfth Night. How does this theme evolve over the course of the text? Right, so you're needing to think a little bit. You're needing to make connections there. Finally, at the end of the activity, you are asked to develop and formulate your own creative artifact by imagining that you were to cast this as a movie. You're going to cast Twelfth Night as a movie, and you can use any actors you want, right? So it's right here. Who would you cast as Viola, Olivia, Orsino, Sebastian, and Malvolio? Why? And please take into consideration character traits of each character, the chemistry between the various lovers, and the confusing gender roles that are explored in the play. You may choose to cast Viola, male, as Shakespeare would have done in his time, but be creative. So that's a really fun activity, and I think you're really going to enjoy that last creative activity. So the ELA standards that are addressed in this exercise really focus on the key ideas and details. The questions examine themes, the questions examine how complex characters develop over the course of the text and advance the plot, and I've also asked you to cite specific textual evidence that supports your analysis. So that's a really great exercise. If we go on over to Choice Board, this is another activity that I am so excited about, and I know you're going to be too. It is a choice. So you get choices, which how often does that happen, right? You get to choose which activities you want to participate in, and it's set up, you can see here, like a tic-tac-toe board. And like tic-tac-toe, you have to choose or cross off 3 in a row, either horizontally, like this, diagonally, like this, or vertically, okay? But even though I'm giving you a choice, the way I've designed this, you're going to have to probably do an activity that's maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone. So for example, if I want to start with 1, I want to create a set design for Twelfth Night in any setting I choose. Could be 1920s New York or China during the Han Dynasty. I have to create a 3-dimensional model, and I have to write a 1-page explanation of my choices, and I have to work with a partner. So that may be good for me or maybe bad, but regardless, you have to do that, and it's going to test your collaboration and your communication skills. I've also designed the way I've set up this tic-tac-toe board that you're going to have to utilize a digital tool. So in this case, if I'm moving horizontally, if I chose 1 and I'm going to now choose 2, you're going to create a poplet. Poplets are really fun. Poplets are ways that you can create and visualize ideas and thoughts and images on a particular topic. And this one asks you to explore the theme of ambiguous gender roles and relationships in Twelfth Night. It must include at least 12 poplets, 4 visuals, and 3 explicit text references with act and scene numbers, as well as your take on the theme. And that's individual work. Now, if I'm continuing on this way, this may really push you out of your comfort zone. I happen to love singing, so I would do this, but many of you may choose to avoid this one. But it's going to be so fun for us to all listen to it. So it's write a song or a rap from the point of view of any of the main characters in Twelfth Night. You can use the play's dialogue, some of the words, some of the lines, but you need to write this song on your own. It can be a solo or a duet, so it can be individual or partner work, and you can either upload it to YouTube, so I'll have to watch it on my own, or perform it in the front of the class, yay, so we all can watch it. So that is just such a fun activity, and there are others if you want to look around. You can create a poster, you can create a PowerPoint presentation. And right here in the middle, if you can see, number 5 is a free choice. So if you come to me and you propose a really substantial activity, not just I want to write a paragraph summary on Twelfth Night, but something really substantial, you want to propose it to me, we'll go over it and we'll see if you can use it and put it into that space, number 5 right there. All right, let's head over to lecture, because I love this one. Lecture, let's see. In this lecture, it's called Shakespeare's Words, and we are going to discuss and discover and understand how Shakespeare used his words, the kind of writing style he wrote in, and why he wrote in that style. What were the effects that he was trying to achieve by writing in that style? So the objectives of this lecture are that you are going to be able to articulate the characteristics and the differences of prose and verse, which are the 2 writing styles that Shakespeare wrote in, and how he used each to advance the plot, illuminate themes, and describe characters. Right? And then by the end of this activity, you're going to actually be a writer yourself and write dialogue in both prose and verse. So we go over a lot of fun concepts and ideas, and we define prose, and we read prose, and then we write prose on our own, and then we check it. So this is a really fun and simple activity. It builds upon itself. It's straightforward and easy to understand. And like I said, by the end, huzzah, you're going to be Shakespeare himself, writing your own prose and verse. There are videos we get to watch, so there'll be lots of really interesting ways to explore and interact with the text. Shakespeare did not intend his words to just be read in a book, right? He was a playwright. He intended his words to be performed and listened to and heard and spoken. And so this lecture and this activity that we're going to participate in is going to allow you to speak the words, to listen to the words, to understand what kind of a tone they evoke, what he was trying to accomplish, how it describes, how the words describe each character. And we're going to watch videos of really brilliant Shakespearean actors performing some of these words, and you're going to perform them as well. So that's that, and like I said, by the end, you're going to be the bard himself, creating your own dialogue. And who knows, maybe it'll turn into a really famous play that I can go see on Broadway someday. And here's the lecture. These are the guided notes that go along with the lecture, just to give you even more opportunity to really interact with the text and the thoughts and the ideas. So you can fill in the blank, you can write sentences, you can share with your partner, you need to circle where syllables are emphasized, and we listen to Shakespeare performed, and finally, like I said, you write your own original script. All right, now moving on to the final project, the final act of this unit. So I've designed this project and implemented all the standards addressed to help prepare you for the Common Core State Standards for College and Career Readiness. Even though you're only in 10th grade, I think it's never too early to start preparing you for college and career and developing those skills that are necessary in your future. Things like understanding how to research, building strong content knowledge, understanding how to communicate and collaborate with partners, utilizing digital media, So we're going to explore all of that in this final activity. The final activity is called Humanizing the Immigrant Experience. Right, okay, well, how did we get there? How did we get here from reading Twelfth Night, which is, just a funny romp. It's a comedy. It's lighthearted. It's celebratory, silly even. But Twelfth Night is about a young woman who is shipwrecked in a new country, and she's all alone, and she has to dress as a man to earn money and survive. So themes of immigration, gender roles, identity, and status are explored. So I thought it would be interesting to explore those same themes today in our current climate. So I created an entry-level assessment, and sadly I already took the assessment, so you can't see it. But the questions on this survey, there's 5 questions, and the questions probe your understanding of immigration, your opinions, what you know about what's currently going on today in the United States with immigration. And it's meant for me to just understand where you are and where we need to start from. And it's going to help you understand the journey that you go on from the beginning of this activity all the way through the end. All right, so the final project is fantastic. It's so exciting. It's in 3 parts. And the first part is you're going to research the history of immigration in the United States. You're going to develop a research project, and you're going to write about immigration, and then you're going to be assigned an immigrant that you're actually going to interview. But before you interview that immigrant, you're going to study the country from which they immigrated, the context in which they immigrated, whether they're male, female, whether race played a part, or their religion, their gender played a part in their immigration, financial reasons. And then second, you're going to interview that immigrant, and you're going to record an oral history. You're going to take pictures of their life and what it looks like, and it's going to be really human, very real, very honest. And then you're going to write a narrative. It can be a 2-page double-spaced essay. It can be a chapter book, a graphic novel, or a 1-act play. And then the final project is going to be at a local museum or community center. We're going to blow up the pictures that you took of your subjects. And then next to those pictures in this gallery is going to be your QR code that leads museum visitors right to your sites. So you're going to develop a website that includes your research on immigration, more pictures and more information about your subject that you interviewed, your oral history report, and finally your journey that you went on from the beginning of your assignment, understanding what immigration was, all the way through the end. Have you changed? Has your opinion changed? Do you have more empathy now and more compassion for immigrants to our country? So that's a really exciting activity, but I do want to point out that this is a very sensitive subject, immigration, especially today, especially in our country. So I ask that you are respectful, not only of our immigrant subjects, of course, but of your classmates. I need you to be honest, but of course I need you to be respectful. So be thinking about that as we go through this final project. All right, so we've gone over the major activities on this website. Check out other tabs on this site. You can go to Internet Use, where you can find out internet safety ideas and websites to go to check, if you're being bugged, if you're being followed. There's some research tools right here. Plagiarism is a big deal with me, so please don't plagiarize. Visit plagiarism.org to understand what plagiarism is. And then if you do use people's quotes or ideas, make sure you cite them in MLA format style. You can find that here. Digital Interactives is a fun tab that just has you interacting with the text in a digital way. So you can take quizzes about Twelfth Night. You can use an essay map here on Read, Think, Write. You can go on this hero's journey and see if Viola actually falls into the archetypal category of a hero. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. I don't know. Check it out. Poplet's a really fun activity. I created a Poplet, a small one, about William Shakespeare and just some of the ideas and thoughts around him. So go to there and add your own thoughts. Maybe you have a juicy detail about Shakespeare that I don't know about, and you can add that. So please check this out. I had so much fun making this for you. I'm excited to work with you. I'm excited to go over all of this information and share William Shakespeare with the world. There's a reason why he has lasted as long as he has lasted, 450 or more years. So Thanks for listening, and I look forward to teaching you. Goodbye.